The city of Paris has always been a sanctuary for the bold, a place where history is written not just in ink, but in the elegant sweep of fabric and the rhythmic, echoing cadence of footsteps down a darkened runway. When Paris Fashion Week arrives, the entire world holds its breath, waiting to see which icons will rise, which empires will solidify their rule, and which unexpected narratives will capture the global imagination. It is a stage built on legacy where the ghosts of fashion past mingle with the avant-garde pioneers of tomorrow. Yet, beneath the flashing lights and the collective whisper of the international elite, there is a deeper, more compelling human story unfolding this season. It is a story about the heavy burden of fame, the complex bonds of family, and the sudden striking emergence of a new generation stepping out from the towering shadows of their past. The atmosphere in the fashion capital is always charged with anticipation, but this year a specific energy hummed through the air, drawing a direct line from the golden era of pop culture straight to the heart of the modern runway. As viewers from every corner of the globe tune in to witness these cultural shifts, we invite you to stay connected with us for every major update by hitting the subscribe button, ensuring you never miss the deep dives into the stories shaping our world today. To truly understand the gravity of what just transpired on the Parisian runway, one must first look back at the immense, almost paradoxical world from which these young men emerged. For over 2 decades, the name Britney Spears has been synonymous with a level of global stardom that is as brilliant as it is volatile. From her meteoric rise as a teenage phenomenon to her public struggles and hard-won victories, her life has been documented down to the microsecond. Every triumph was magnified, every heartbreak amplified, and through it all, her children grew up tucked away from a world that seemed constantly hungry for a piece of their mother. Sean Preston and Jaden James were born into a reality that few human beings could ever comprehend, where the paparazzi cameras were a permanent fixture of the landscape and privacy was a luxury that had to be fiercely guarded. Their early years were defined by the swirling vortex of public fascination, their every milestone analyzed by a public that felt an intense, almost possessive connection to their mother. Now those boys have grown into young men, navigating their own paths and making choices that signal a definitive departure from the quiet lives they maintained for so long. The transition from being the protected children of a global icon to independent figures stepping into the absolute center of the media spotlight is a journey fraught with unique challenges. Yet it is a transition that both brothers seem prepared to face on their own terms. The backdrop for this dramatic evolution is none other than the high-stakes world of international fashion, an industry known for its ruthless critique and its celebration of inherited legacy. Paris Fashion Week has always served as the ultimate testing ground for those who carry famous last names, often labeled with the modern moniker of Nepo babies. While some view this lineage as an effortless passport to success, the reality on the ground is often far more complex, requiring these descendants of stardom to prove their worth under a microscope of intense scrutiny. The world watches with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism, waiting to see if the children of icons possess the presence, the drive, and the raw charisma required to command a space that demands absolute perfection. For Sean Preston and Jaden, the runway was not merely a career opportunity, it was a profound declaration of independence. A moment to reintroduce themselves to a world that had only ever known them through the lens of their mother's legendary career. As the lights dimmed at the Vetements menswear spring and summer show, the audience was entirely unaware of the historical weight behind the two figures about to emerge from the wings. Vetements, a brand famous for its rebellious spirit and its subversion of traditional luxury, provided the perfect, slightly chaotic setting for a debut that would instantly reverberate across social media and global news outlets. The choice of this specific show was telling in itself, signaling that the brothers were not looking for a conventional, safe entry into the fashion world, but were instead aligning themselves with a brand that thrives on edge, attitude, and a refusal to conform. This sense of defiance and confidence was palpable the moment the music began to pound through the venue, setting the stage for an arrival that felt both surprising and entirely inevitable. The contrast between the intense, high-fashion environment of Paris and the deeply personal, often turbulent history of the Spears family created a unique tension that defined the opening night. While the world outside watched the breaking news alerts, the insiders in the room witnessed a physical manifestation of a legacy transforming in real time. The boys who had once been photographed as toddlers in the arms of an overwhelmed pop queen were now towering figures, walking with a steady, self-assured pace that commanded respect from an audience accustomed to seeing the best models in the world. This moment of transition, captured by hundreds of lenses, marked the beginning of a new chapter, not just for the brothers, but for the entire cultural narrative surrounding their family. Yet, as the cameras flashed and the applause echoed through the hall, a glaring absence hung over the entire proceeding, casting a subtle shadow of mystery over the triumphant debut. Britney Spears, the mother whose global fame had cast the original light upon their lives, was nowhere to be seen in the star-studded audience. Her absence was immediately noted by reporters and fans alike, sparking a wave of questions and speculation about the current state of their relationship and the underlying dynamics of this famous family. In an era where every family milestone is typically broadcast across social media with carefully curated perfection, the singer's physical distance from her son's biggest moment added a layer of complexity to an already fascinating story. This separation between the mother's ongoing personal journey and her son's professional awakening forms the core of an unfolding drama, one that speaks to the universal challenges of growing up, finding one's identity, and learning to walk alone under the brightest lights in the world. The absolute center of the fashion world shifted on Friday as the Vetements Menswear Spring and Summer 2027 show took place amidst the heavy electric atmosphere of Paris Fashion Week. The venue was packed to capacity with international journalists, elite stylists, and prominent cultural figures, all waiting to see how the radical brand would challenge the boundaries of luxury clothing once again. What they did not expect was a historic debut that would instantly link the raw energy of modern streetwear with the deepest roots of global pop culture royalty. When the music dropped into a heavy industrial bass line, Sean Preston and Jaden James stepped out onto the concrete runway, marking their official entry into the professional world. Sean Preston, now 20 years old, moved with a deliberate, striking confidence that showed zero signs of stage fright or intimidation. He wore a sharply tailored look consisting of a crisp black shirt, a classic black tie, and an oversized, luxurious, long black coat crafted from a heavy satin material that caught the ambient lighting with every movement. This elegant, dramatic upper layer was contrasted with a pair of loose-fitting blue jeans and sleek black shoes, creating an ensemble that perfectly balanced high-fashion sophistication with a rebellious, youthful attitude. Moments later, his 19-year-old brother Jaden made his own entrance, presenting a distinctly different but equally compelling aesthetic that resonated with contemporary street style. Jaden leaned into a more casual, minimalist confidence, walking the runway in a clean white tank top tucked neatly into structured denim jeans which were secured by a classic brown belt. For a subtle personal touch that added texture to the look, he had a silver chain draped carefully along his left side, finishing the outfit with dark brown shoes that anchored his presence on the runway. The two brothers walked with a natural, steady rhythm, their posture and focus surprising many in attendance who knew how rare it was for newcomers to look so completely at home under the intense scrutiny of a Parisian audience. As the flashes of 100 professional cameras illuminated the runway, the spectators realized they were witnessing a profound moment of personal evolution. As two young men who had spent their entire lives being viewed through the lens of their mother's fame were now commanding a global stage entirely on their own merits. The sheer confidence displayed by the brothers during the Vetements show did not materialize out of thin air, as Jaden in particular had been quietly establishing his own footprint within the fashion industry over the past few weeks. Just last month, the younger sibling made a highly publicized, rare appearance on the red carpet at the prestigious Dior Cruise 2027 runway show in Los Angeles. That particular event had marked his first time stepping in front of a formal press wall in over a decade, with his last major public appearance dating all the way back to 2015 when he walked the red carpet of the Teen Choice Awards as a child alongside his famous mother. At the Dior event in California, Jaden proved he could comfortably navigate the modern celebrity landscape, mingling effortlessly with a star-studded A-list crowd that included major industry heavyweights such as Miley Cyrus and Sabrina Carpenter. This recent exposure to the absolute highest levels of the entertainment world clearly served as an ideal preparation for the massive pressure of Paris Fashion Week, allowing him to step onto the European runway not as an overwhelmed outsider, but as an emerging figure who understands the visual language of modern celebrity culture. While her sons were making international headlines in France, Britney Spears herself was completely absent from the event, choosing instead to remain across the Atlantic, where she stayed highly active on her own terms. Rather than attending the high-profile runway shows in person, the iconic singer took to her massive social media platform to share a characteristically vibrant and eccentric update with her millions of dedicated followers. On her main Instagram page, she uploaded a video clip of herself modeling a shimmering pink mini dress that featured a distinct section of sheer fabric right through the middle, pairing the eye-catching outfit with classic black high heels. With her signature blonde locks flowing past her shoulders in loose natural waves and bright red bracelets adorning her wrists, the pop star flashed frequent, beaming smiles directly at the camera while an upbeat, energetic track played in the background. The video showed her twirling to display the intricate details of the dress, walking toward a large glass door that led to an outdoor patio, and briefly lowering herself entirely to the floor before jumping back up with a burst of playful energy. The reel concluded with her flaunting the outfit one final time for her viewers, accompanied by a characteristically brief, enigmatic, and completely unexpected one-word caption that simply read "balls," showcasing her ongoing commitment to expressing herself exactly how she pleases without any regard for conventional public relations strategies. Beneath the surface of these parallel public appearances, a major shift in family dynamics had been quietly playing out on social media months before the Paris debut took place. In April, investigative reports revealed that the eldest son, Sean Preston, had made a highly significant change to his public identity by choosing to use his mother's legendary last name on his personal social media accounts. According to legal and media sources, the 20-year-old transitioned from using his standard name to officially listing himself as Sean P. Spears on his main Instagram profile, entirely dropping his father's surname from his public-facing digital presence. This subtle but incredibly powerful gesture spoke volumes to fans and industry insiders alike, signaling a deep, symbolic alignment with his mother's heritage just as he and his brother were preparing to enter the public eye as independent adults. This name change was particularly striking given the geographical and emotional distances that had defined the family over the previous few years. Especially after both brothers relocated to Hawaii with their father back in 2023 to escape the intense media circus surrounding Los Angeles. The reality of their changing lives was further detailed by their father, Kevin Federline, who released a deeply personal and revealing memoir last year titled, "You Thought You Knew." In the pages of the book, Federline shared the major update that Jaden had actually decided to leave Hawaii and move back to Los Angeles full-time to actively pursue his own creative ambitions within the music and entertainment industries. Federline wrote with immense pride about his son's development, noting that Jaden was absolutely brimming with creative energy, and that watching both of his children grow into themselves had filled him with a deep sense of accomplishment. He emphasized that the family had done absolutely everything within their power to prepare the boys for the realities of adult life, expressing total confidence that they were fully ready to handle whatever challenges the world threw at them. This public blessing from their father, combined with Sean Preston's embrace of the Spears name, set a fascinating stage for the brothers as they began to reconcile with their mother after a period of intense, highly publicized estrangement. In recent months, the pop icon had begun sharing older videos and sentimental photographs of her boys, hinting at a quiet, loving restoration of their familial bond behind closed doors. However, this path toward healing and independent success was preceded by a dark, incredibly challenging chapter that tested the strength of the entire family unit. Early last year, the singer was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence, a terrifying incident that threatened to derail her hard-won freedom and stability. She subsequently pleaded guilty to the charges at her formal arraignment in the Ventura County Superior Court, entering the plea through her prominent defense attorney, Michael Goldstein, while she chose to remain at home away from the media frenzy outside the courthouse. The legal system handed down a sentence of 12 months of active probation, along with a single day of jail time that was considered already served due to her initial processing. Furthermore, the court ordered her to enroll immediately in a strict 3-month alcohol and drug education program, pay a series of financial fines, and commit to a rigorous mental health regimen that included seeing a psychologist once every week and a psychiatrist twice a month. The judicial ruling strictly prohibited her from consuming any alcohol or non-prescribed controlled substances. And the court commissioner even granted law enforcement the authority to search her vehicle without a warrant at any time if she were to be pulled over again. Following the tense legal proceedings, her attorney issued a brief statement confirming that she was doing well, but the true gravity of the situation was felt most deeply by her sons. Deeply alarmed by the incident, Sean Preston and Jaden reportedly stepped in to stage a loving but incredibly firm intervention for their mother, demanding that she confront her struggles directly. Sources close to the situation revealed that the boys were the only people the singer would truly listen to, and their gentle but non-negotiable stance prompted her to voluntarily check into an ultra-luxury rehabilitation facility known as Borden Cottage, located in the quiet hills of Maine. Although the premium facility typically requires a minimum stay of 45 days at a staggering cost of up to $140,000, the pop star ultimately stayed for just under 3 weeks before returning home to California. Reflecting on the intense drama much later, the singer described the entire ordeal as a profound blessing in disguise, using her social media to detail a deep spiritual journey that eventually led her back to a place of peace and gratitude. Yet, even as stability returned, her behavior remained unpredictable, as evidenced by a chaotic and highly emotional Father's Day post where she danced with a miniature guitar and made a surprise admission about wanting to have another baby in the future, leaving fans forever wondering what lies next for this unforgettable dynasty. The echoes of the Paris runway have left an indelible and transformative mark on the landscape of contemporary pop culture, signaling a monumental restructuring of one of the most thoroughly analyzed and fiercely discussed celebrity dynasties of the modern era. The footsteps of Sean Preston and Jaden James down that long, dimly lit Parisian runway did far more than just announce their formal arrival into the elite, highly competitive echelons of international high fashion. They represented a definitive, highly conscious reclamation of a narrative that had been completely dictated by outside voices for the better part of 2 decades. For their entire lives, the global public had viewed these two brothers through a heavily fractured and sensationalized lens, seeing them primarily as young symbols caught in a prolonged, exhausting media battle over custody, legal conservatorships, privacy, and personal autonomy. However, the true depth of their personal evolution and emotional maturity became undeniable to the world when Sean Preston made the calculated and deeply symbolic decision to alter his public-facing identity, officially adopting his mother's legendary last name across his primary social media platforms to become known to the world as Sean P. Spears. This choice was far more than a simple digital update for a new generation. It was a profound, unmistakable declaration of family allegiance and a public embrace of a maternal heritage that carries an almost incomprehensible amount of cultural weight and historical significance. By choosing to carry the iconic Spears name forward into his adult professional endeavors, Sean Preston effectively transformed the public perception of that lineage, shifting it from a symbol of relentless paparazzi intrusion into a banner of resilience and independent strength. Complementing this powerful reclamation of family heritage is Jaden James's rapid, highly deliberate ascent within the global creative industries, a journey that has brought him from the tranquil shores of Hawaii back to the absolute epicenter of world entertainment in Los Angeles. The decision to relocate both boys to the Hawaiian Islands back in 2023 was initially viewed by the public as a permanent retreat from the suffocating, often toxic atmosphere of Southern California celebrity culture, a necessary step taken by their family to provide them with the private space and anonymity required to navigate their late teenage years in peace. Yet, as revealed by their father Kevin Federline in his deeply revealing and highly introspective memoir titled, "You Thought You Knew," the natural pull of artistic expression and musical legacy eventually proved far too strong for the younger sibling to ignore as he approached adulthood. Federline detailed with striking candor how Jaden's recent return to Los Angeles was fueled by an intense desire to actively chase his music dreams, describing the 19-year-old as a young man completely brimming with creative energy, original ideas, and an innate understanding of rhythm, style, and performance. As a father who spent years shielding his children from public scrutiny, Federline expressed immense pride in watching both of his sons grow into self-assured, mature individuals who are entirely capable of managing the crushing pressures of the modern entertainment landscape on their own terms. Jaden's recent appearance at the Dior Cruise Show demonstrates a remarkable ability to blend seamlessly into elite artistic circles, carrying himself with a quiet, natural elegance that beautifully mirrors the inherent star quality of his lineage. This inspiring journey toward independent professional success cannot be fully decoupled from the intricate, often painful architecture of family healing and emotional reconstruction that occurred behind closed doors following years of highly publicized estrangement and intense emotional distance. The definitive turning point for the family came during a period of acute crisis. When Britney Spears faced a highly publicized legal ordeal involving a driving under the influence charge in Ventura County that threatened to shatter her hard-won personal freedom. While the mainstream media focused entirely on the sensational aspects of the arrest, a far more significant human drama was unfolding privately within the walls of their home. Recognizing the absolute gravity of the situation and the potential threat to their mother's well-being, Sean Preston and Jaden stepped forward to stage a loving, deeply compassionate, yet incredibly firm intervention. Stepping courageously into the roles of protectors and stabilizers for a legendary woman who had spent her entire life under a microscope. Sources close to the family revealed that the brothers were uniquely positioned as the only individuals capable of truly breaking through the noise of fame and reaching the singer's heart, offering a gentle but completely non-negotiable ultimatum that was delivered with absolute love and clarity. This profound role reversal, where the children became the anchors of accountability, prompted the pop star to voluntarily seek treatment at the exclusive Borden Cottage Rehabilitation Facility in Maine. A decision that ultimately marked the beginning of a profound spiritual journey and a renewed sense of stability. The deliberate decision to choose Paris Fashion Week and highly respected avant-garde design houses like Vetments as the primary arena for their global debut is a brilliant testament to the strategic intelligence and modern awareness guiding the brothers' entry into adult public life. The world of international high fashion has historically served as an incredibly rigorous and unforgiving proving ground for the descendants of global icons. A rarefied space where the controversial label of Nepo Baby is frequently applied by critics with a mixture of intense curiosity, high expectations, and hypercritical skepticism. To survive and truly thrive in this demanding, fast-paced environment, the children of stardom must possess something far more substantial than a famous surname or a recognizable face. They must exhibit an innate physical presence, a command of visual storytelling, and a willingness to push artistic boundaries. By aligning themselves with Vetments, a brand globally recognized and revered for its defiant subversion of traditional luxury, its bold embrace of raw street culture, and its absolute refusal to cater to safe, commercially predictable aesthetics, Sean Preston and Jaden made a clear, definitive statement about the kind of public figures they intend to become. Their runway walks were not polished, corporate exercises in standard brand promotion, but raw, authentic displays of youthful confidence, individual style, and relaxed poise that captured the exact cultural zeitgeist of the modern fashion industry. This calculated, sophisticated entry into the world of elite design allows them to completely bypass the predictable paths of conventional influencer culture, establishing them instead as serious, compelling forces within the international style community. As the final curtain falls on this spectacular and historic chapter of Paris Fashion Week, the parallel lives of this extraordinary, resilient family continue to captivate the global imagination, presenting a vivid, deeply moving study in contrast, survival, and the enduring power of legacy. While Sean Preston and Jaden march confidently into a bright, self-determined future defined by creative autonomy, professional respect, and international acclaim, their mother continues to navigate her own highly personal, fiercely independent path, reminding the world through her unconventional social media presence that she remains an untamed, entirely singular force who answers to no one but herself. Her emotional reflections on her family history, her unpredictable artistic impulses, and her enduring, heartfelt longing for deeper connection serve as a constant, poignant backdrop to her son's rapid professional ascent, highlighting the unbreakable bond that exists beneath the surface of their public lives. The overarching story of the Spears family is no longer a tragic narrative defined solely by the chaotic struggles of the past, but is instead an inspiring chronicle of survival, profound transformation, and the emergence of a brand new generation ready to completely redefine what it means to inherit a global legacy. Their triumphant debut in the fashion capital of the world is not just a major milestone for two rising models, but a definitive victory for a family that has braved the ultimate storms of fame, proving that even under the most blinding lights, it is entirely possible to find your own path,